Longest bump ever.
Ready?
Yeah.
AGL reports. What do we make of them? Alas, Horatio, I knew him well. He was called Freedom. His demise was so sad and so long, and yet there may be a chance of resurrecting him. Hark my words well, my friend. Shakespeare could not have said it well. Dost thou love freedom? LGL. Dig, Sammy?
Dark Edge with Free Talk Live. You can see us at freetalklive.com. We're live from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 6 days a week, Monday through Friday. Or you can catch the podcast. It's free at freetalklive.com.
Hi, this is Karen Lupo with Low Country Liberty Report. I'm going to take you to an interview I did with Gardner Goldsmith this summer. He was at Porkfest and we were interviewing. It was probably the oddest interview I've ever done. It was a poor man's interview. You'll see what I'm talking about. If you don't know who Gardner Goldsmith is, he has a very successful podcast called Liberty Conspiracy. Now, the idea behind that title is that if you actually believe in personal liberty anymore, that it's almost conspiratorial against the norm, you know. Anyway, Gard also has a large sci-fi background. If you did not know that, he worked on Star Trek Voyager as a writer, and he's written 2 books recently called Serenity Found and Live Free or Die, which you can find on Amazon.
I'm here with Gardner Goldsmith, and that's the man. Look at the mountains in the background, how pretty, and we are in the middle of a parking lot.
Yeah.
I take care.
Nothing but the best.
All right, so do you think Douglas Adams was a libertarian?
You know, I'm not sure.
He
definitely had some great stuff in there about inflation, didn't he?
And the Vogons,
the
he made
Vogons,
the whole bureaucrat
the ultimate
race.
bureaucrats. I mean, just perfect. I think those guys, Douglas Adams and some of the guys from Monty Python, have a lot of libertarian, anti-authoritarian leanings. They probably come from the more left-wing side of the libertarian spectrum. Maybe towards anarchy, which would be great. I just can't be sure. Douglas Adams is an amazing character, and you know, I've mentioned this on some of my podcasts. The last interview with Douglas Adams was done by Doctor Who magazine, and I didn't even bring that to be prepared, but hey. And so he had been in the United States for about 10, maybe more than 10 years, coming over after the success of the Hitchhiker's Guide radio series, then the books, which he based on the scripts for the radio series, which he wrote, the scripts, by the way, while he was script editor on Doctor Who, and writing amazing stories like City of Death, and getting cameos by John Cleese in this show. So he had great success with the radio show, the books, then the television series, and he took this and went to the United States, started writing some of his Dirk Gently books. And you can see the Dirk Gently books are a little darker. And at a certain point, he did the last Hitchhiker's book. And I don't want to have spoilers for anybody, but, you know, just hold your ears for a second. But in the last Hitchhiker's Guide book, the 5th of the trilogy, the seriously misnamed trilogy, he kills everybody. They all die. And what ends up, they come back in a time loop, and they're there at the destruction of Earth by the Vogons. And, you know, just on an emotional level, beyond our political conversation here, you know, whether you have certain heroes in writing who were fiction writers regarding freedom, or, you know, just heroes in writing regarding story structure and characterization and great ideas and stories. Rod Serling's one of my big heroes, and he was a real lefty. But before he died, he did this interview with Doctor Who magazine, and he said, listen, I know a lot of the fans were upset by that. And he says, it's taken me some time. I was very depressed when I wrote that book. I was clinically depressed, he said. And I've been getting some help. I've been seeing a doctor, and you know, he's got me exercising. I'm feeling a lot better now. Well, it turned out he died at the workout center where he was doing his exercises to feel better. And he had always been a pretty hardcore atheist. I was telling this story last night. Good friends with Richard Dawkins. He introduced Lalla Ward, who played Romana, the second Romana in Doctor Who, he introduced her to Richard Dawkins, and they're now married, and she's learning a lot about the cosmology and physics and all sorts of things that Richard Dawkins writes about. So he's a fascinating guy. I happen to disagree with him on his atheism, but evidently, and people who are closer to Douglas Adams might know more than I, but he seemed to be questioning his atheism a little bit. And Carl Sagan sort of did the same thing before he passed away. Not full-on believing that there must be some sort of a creator behind everything, but seeing certain patterns and weirdness that happens in your life that you say, look, I know that humans find patterns in things that happen by random. It's just the way that humans are. So his entire motif, his entire leitmotif in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy had been randomness, chaos, mathematics, you know, the universe is unpredictable, the answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything is 42. They finally find out what the ultimate question is, and it's what do you get when you multiply 6 by 9? And it tells you that there's something fundamentally wrong with the universe. So he's like, look, everything's random. You can't count on anything. But before he died, he seemed to be questioning whether everything really was random. And I found that very interesting. And for those people who are big fans, and I know I'm sort of going far afield here, but for those people who are big fans of Douglas Adams, if you get the chance to watch the movie, and you were disappointed maybe by the movie, I loved it.
The new movie?
Yeah, the movie. The new movie. If you get a chance to see it, there's a scene in it where Arthur Dent takes quite a departure from what you've been used to in a Douglas Adams story, where he's there and he's very upset and he's wondering what the ultimate question is. He goes, I don't care what the ultimate question is. To me, the ultimate question is she the one? Is she the right one for me? And he says, and you know, undoubtedly, unquestionably, the answer is yes. And he's in love with this girl, Trisha McMillan. And so but I was just thinking about the actress. She's so gorgeous. It's like ridiculous. Her eyes are incredible.
Did you see her in that series Tin Man?
No, I heard about that. And of course, her sister's in Bones.
Tin Man.
Yeah, so yeah. They both are. It's just striking. It's amazing.
I was kind of disappointed when she was in The Happening, and
yeah, I heard about that. I didn't get to see it.
Well, I thought I was looking for Rerun and Raj and Dee Dee, and I didn't understand where they were. I didn't see Rerun once in that movie. I wanted my money back. And then I wonder if they're going to do a sequel like The Happening Now. Alright.
You can keep that if you want.
I'm sorry. All right.
What's happening now? Oh, man.
Believe it or not, this interview is about an hour long, so I'm going to cut this up into a series because there's so many great Easter eggs in this thing. So, in the meantime, why don't you check out his podcast, libertyconspiracy.com. It's a great podcast, and it's free. Price is right. Check it out. To be continued. Until next time, it's Terry Lupo. Good hunting.